Dallas come out?
If Dallas beat Kansas City.
Didn't who won the first game? Came in. They played one game already.
They played tonight, I
I
think.
thought they already played one.
Did Dallas win the first one?
I think so. That's what I'm guessing. I want them to play Dallas, but I can see them play. I can fly to Dallas cheap.
Okay.
I can get on Southwest and go out there.
Okay.
But they play OKC. I don't know about going out there.
Okay.
I was hoping New Orleans would put up a foot, but they suck.
He can't stay well, man.
But yeah, I'll catch the flight to Dallas. Watch the game. Go out on Saturday or something. But yeah, something to do. Maybe Memorial Day weekend or something. It's boring. It's the worst time of the year right here, man. Football. Got to hear them come back. You know, Florida State played Bama 25 for a game, man. In Tallahassee.
And?
No, it should be a big game.
Gonna be a big one.
Well, I can't say it because I don't know how Bama going to do it. No, we don't. No, we don't.
We might drop one.
No, I think it's going to be a little bit more than one.
No, we ain't gonna drop no more.
Okay. Okay.
Technically, we got two coaches.
No, you ain't got, Nick ain't doing that, I promise. If y'all think Nick down there coaching, you got to keep him.
He's doing some evaluate. He's keeping the program together.
No, sir. He eating and sleeping, that's it. Man, Nick ain't studying that man.
When he said walk away when he did. You just gotta figure it out. You okay?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Man, I know my opinion. What's going on with that?
Make sure you switched it back to yours because I tried to
See,
come
other
in.
users.
You flip back. Oh, okay.
Nothing else? Alex? Super. Oh, 2 question marks.
Maybe you
Thank
want to.
you, man.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised. I thought you were going to change that.
I thought it was funny. I'll let it stay a little minute.
Well, I didn't know what you wanted. I didn't know what you wanted replaced.
You know what you wanted that? You knew that?
Put
trying to lose. Let's go, man, don't get snooze. It's time to wake up. 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 Tick tock, tick, come on. Tick tock, tick, let's go. Tick tock, tick, come on. Tick tock, tick. You can't wait around for someone's approval. Now is the moment to begin your renewal. Man, feel alive with the vibe, energized of the folks who you're coming by the white in your eyes. Hey, another day might waste away. Come on, let's get it going, don't make delays. So ring the alarm and lift your arm high. Like Georgia Weezy, get a piece of the pie. Begin it with the step, you'll get in it in a sec. You'll be winning like you never did it when you overslept. So right this minute, get right with it. What time is it? It's time to wake up.
Good morning, Birmingham. This is the regular meeting of the Birmingham City Council. Today is Tuesday, May 7th. This morning, our invocation will be delivered by Dr. Timothy Wood, Sr., pastor of Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Counselor Valerie Abbott. If you're willing and able, please stand.
Let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for your grace and mercy. We pray that as this body assembles, that you would grant them wisdom and most of all compassion. Bless our city, bless our leaders, and we trust you in all things. Amen.
Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, could we please have the roll call?
Councilmember Abbott. Councilmember Clark.
Present.
Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Tate. Councilmember Williams. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Councilmember Woods. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Good morning, President.
Good morning. Council President O'Quinn.
Present, thank you. Council, we have the minutes from January 2nd and 9th, 2024 before us. If there are no additions or corrections, we'll consider a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
That motion passes. The minutes from January 16th, 2024 through April 30th, 2024 are not ready. Mr. Mayor?
No, I did not jump out of another plane. It was not another ATV accident either. It's just a shoulder strain. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you all this morning. And let me just simply start by saying, on this Sunday, we will celebrate the sheroes of our lives, our mothers. And so, on behalf of the city of Birmingham, I would like to wish all of the mothers across all of our 99 neighborhoods an early Happy Mother's Day. To you, Ms. Abbott, to you, Ms. Madam Pro Tem Alexander, to Councilor Tate, who's not present, Happy Mother's Day to our mothers on the council as well. And thank you for all you do. Special shout out to my own mother, who raised me, who birthed me. And special shout out to my wife as well. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. The truth is, all of our mothers in this community have supported us. You've cheered us on, and this Sunday is an opportunity to celebrate you. So, City Hall will be closed Monday. I'm just playing. I was just saying who was listening. All right. Yeah. I'm glad y'all smiled. Moving on. We had a conversation last week. It's just worth reiterating today. I'm very, very grateful for the council's public input as well as behind the scenes of the work you're doing related to lifeguards. I understand Ms. Abbott has changed her mind and she has decided to be a lifeguard. Ms. Abbott, I want to publicly thank you for doing that, as well as to state that as a reminder, Birmingham Park and Recreation continues to look for lifeguards. So Ms. Abbott, get your walking club to join you as well. We're hiring now through May 10th, which is this week. And if you're interested or know someone else, please call 205-254-2189.
So double dipping is okay?
Yes, for you, we'll make the exception. Last week, we were honored with Councilor Tate to host a city town hall meeting for residents in District 9. It's an amazing turnout, great conversation, great questions from residents and concerns were able to be addressed. This Thursday, we're honored to co-host with your colleague, Councilor Carol Clark, a District 8 Town Hall meeting. This Town Hall meeting will be this Thursday, May 9th, and it will take place at the Crossplex. If you need the address, it is 2340 Crossplex Boulevard. Councilor Clark, happy to join you this Thursday at 6 p.m. And all the residents of District 8, we welcome you to attend, to give you and provide you updates on issues and things we've addressed in 8, as well as take your questions, concerns, and issues as well. Also of note, the city of Birmingham will be celebrating and acknowledging Mental Health Day. Will be next Friday, May 17th. The community is invited to join us. This is actually the 3rd annual Mental Health Awareness Day. We find this event to be very refreshing for the community, for city employees and other partners. I want to thank all the partners that have made this event a success over the last 2 years, and this 3rd year will be a success as well. For our residents, for our citizens, and for our employees, I'll just say we know that mental health is an actual thing. One of the good things that come out of the coronavirus or post the coronavirus is that we actually publicly talk about mental health and mental health awareness more, that service providers, organizations, and partners are available in this community to assist not just our employees, but citizens as a whole in our city. And so we want everybody to know that it will take place Friday the 17th right here on Short 20th in front of the park. And it'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Of course, there'll be health experts, speakers, and more, as well as food trucks, so please come out. Just a reminder, weekly note regarding the uniform cart delivery. As a weekly reminder, all single-family residents are now under the same uniform cart system. And if you have any questions, please go to birminghamal.gov/pickup. And at this time, I would like Susanna Schuler, as the president and general manager of WVTM 13, as well as her colleagues or guests, if any of them are present, to come up to the podium as I give a proclamation. Also would like to ask Dr. Darrell O'Quinn, president of the council, to join me.
Hi.
So,
How are you? I'm Keisha.
council and to the public, now more than ever, professional journalism and its mediums are extremely important as we navigate the many challenges of our society. The truth is they keep us informed, and yes, even for us as elected officials, they help hold us accountable. That is why I personally believe it is an extraordinary feat for any journalism organization to have sustained and excelled for 3/4 of a century. And so today, along with President Dr. Darrell O'Quinn, we join with WVTM 13 in celebrating their 75th anniversary. You know, that's a long time. For their service as a cornerstone of broadcasting excellence in our community. And I'll take the time at this moment to read a proclamation in part and then pass it over to Dr. O'Quinn before we allow our guests to speak. And it states that whereas in 1949, radio station owner, The Voice of Alabama Incorporated, embarked on a groundbreaking journey by signing on with WAFM-TV, the original station that will evolve into the longest continuously operating station in Alabama, WVTM 13. And whereas on September 15, 1963, WVTM 13, then known as WAPI-TV, played a pivotal role in documenting one of the most significant and tragic events in the civil rights movement, the bombing inside the 16th Street Baptist Church, revealing the horror to the nation and igniting momentum to change the battle in the civil rights movement. And whereas throughout the decade, WVTM 13 continued to be a beacon of truth, using its platform to expose the injustices of racism, segregation, and discrimination through powerful images that opened the eyes of the nation. And whereas for nearly a century, WVTM 13 has contributed to the improvement of our community with its exceptional storytelling, important reporting, innovative weather forecasting, and community relations. Now, therefore, I, Randall L. Woodfin, Mayor of Birmingham, along with the Birmingham City Council, do hereby proclaim May 29, 2024. I really love that date, by the way. WVTM 13, NBC Television's 75th anniversary day in the city of Birmingham, and call upon the people of Birmingham to recognize and celebrate the invaluable contributions of WVTM 13 to our community, our state, and our nation. And at this time, I'll have Dr. Darrell O'Quinn present to the council as well.
Good morning, council. So for any business, 75 years is a long time, but when you think about the media business, to have that sort of staying power is a true accomplishment. So, like Mayor Woodfin, I want to offer a resolution that echoes our recognition of WVTM's accomplishments. So, the resolution largely follows the mayor's proclamation. So at this time, I'll move for unanimous consent for.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
And now the motion on the item.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed, say nay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Please offer comments.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much for that recognition. And more so, thank you for trusting WVTM 13 for 75 years in our mission to keep our community informed, safe, shining a light on what's working and also what needs work, and helping our local businesses grow. It is never lost on us the responsibility of being the very first television station in the state of Alabama. And we take that seriously, our commitment to serve this community that we all call home. We seek daily to improve, and our commitment to you is that we will work every day to earn your trust for the next 75 years. So thank you.
All right, council. I do want to acknowledge two things. One, this shirt is in recognition of Rick Woodfield, MLB. We all know the importance of June 20th. I do want to publicly thank the council for supporting the investment and reimagining our historic, oldest baseball park in the nation. I understand the improvements are going really, really well. As you know, Chaz Mitchell has been running point. I also understand yesterday, at some point, the tickets went on sale and immediately sold out. And so there's just much excitement around Major League Baseball game being played in the state of Alabama for the first time, where the city of Birmingham is the host city at Rickwood Field, a game against the San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. So very grateful for your continued support and advocacy for this amazing opportunity to highlight and showcase Birmingham as well as Rickwood Field to the entire world. I also want to acknowledge, I think it's important before I take my seat, I want to speak to gun violence in Birmingham very, very briefly and simply state that what happened in the 700 and 800 block of 3rd Avenue West is unacceptable. On one hand, I think the city of Birmingham and as a community, we're very fortunate more people were not hurt or killed. At the exact same time, while this is still under investigation with some of the preliminary things we've all read publicly, I think the culture, the gun culture, as well as gun violence in our community, continues to rear its head in ways that are just stupid, right? Reckless. And I think at a local level, our hands are tied as far as local elected officials not being able or legally allowed to regulate guns. And I think we have the state of Alabama who has chosen to go in a direction that says no one even needs a permit, so people can ride around any type of guns. And then I think you have inaction at the federal level where the assault weapon ban expired and has not been renewed, and so it's not just guns, but it's the type of guns, military-style guns that are on Birmingham streets. And so when you get no action or inaction at the federal level, when you get the state that says you don't even need a permit, people still look to the 10 of us where we can't even regulate guns. And so as this issue continues to be a problem in our city, I do want to publicly state that this is nothing to brag about, but on par, homicides year to date are pretty much where they were in 2023. Then there are other forms of gun violence that I think it's important to publicly talk about, which we don't, which is felony assaults where people are shot and survive, which is actually down. But then the one that gives me the most pain is actually shooting into occupied dwellings, where people have guns in their vehicles. They decide to have beef with someone and they do a pull up, drive up, shoot and drive off. This is the one where I think it requires continued ideas and creativity around how do we keep neighborhoods safe? How do we keep homes safe where citizens are, seniors, elders who sit on their porches, and children safe where we've seen the recklessness of this behavior get innocent people shot and or killed? And so because we're not in a position to regulate guns, the conversation I've had with you all and the conversation I've been having with 2 of the 99 neighborhood residents is there an opportunity for a pilot program to regulate space? And what we found in our conversations going door to door talking to residents is that residents are open to that if we can't regulate guns, is there a way to regulate space where people live? As we continue to gather information from residents, as we continue to get details of how this ideas would look, we commit to coming back to you, the council, coming back to those residents, and coming back to the public to share how do we better regulate space if we can't regulate guns to keep people safe, particularly where they live. I will say that since the incident this weekend, the legal department has filed a civil injunction against several of the establishments in the 800 block of 3rd Avenue West. And I want to put all businesses on notice because we had this conversation publicly in front of you all 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We believe in supporting our small businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of our community, as well as how we produce taxes in this community. At the same time, I think it's worth noting publicly that there is an expectation that those who are small business owners, that they are responsible for the activities that happen on their private property and or that spill out into our public spaces that create and or cause a public nuisance, and that ultimately you have to be held accountable. So I look forward to this continued conversation, not only with the legal department, but with the council as a body, and particularly related to Councilor Tate, who leads the Public Safety Committee. And with that, Mr. President and Council, that concludes the mayor's report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right. This time, we will move on without objection to presentation. This morning, We have with us Alex Williams on behalf of Children's Theater. Ms. Williams, if you would come to the lectern, please. She's going to tell us about Children's Theater Summer Park Series.
Good morning. First, I'd like to say thank you to Councilman O'Quinn and his staff for allowing me to address the body today. My name is Alex Williams. I'm the Director of Operations for Birmingham Children's Theater. Many of you may or may not know that BCT is actually is the oldest continuously operating theater in the state of Alabama, but we're the second oldest children's theater in the nation. And it's located right here in Birmingham. The mission of BCT is to educate, enrich, and entertain the children of Alabama, and we have been fulfilling this mission now for 76 years. We have recently just announced our 2024-2025 Page to Stage season. For our 77th season, we will be presenting Teddy Bear's Picnic, The Three Little Kittens, Peter and the Wolf in conjunction with our friends at the Alabama Symphony, A Christmas Carol, The Biggest Little House in the Forest, the world premiere of Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Book, Jack and the Beanstalk, and lastly, The Wizard of Oz. Although children's is the first word in our name, we employ adult actors and artisans to perform for our young audiences. And many of these children, we are their first introduction to live theater. If I had to describe the work that we do at BCT, I would describe us foremost as an alternative educational organization. We have something for every child at every stage of their development between our professional productions and our educational programs. Our theater for the very young is designed for ages 1 to 5, and we incorporate rhythm, song, dance, and music to help our very little ones follow along with the stories. For age ranges 5 to 9 years of age, we have We Folks programming. But this is more layered and complex storytelling, and it runs about 45 to 55 minutes. And lastly, Main Stage is a full theatrical experience minus the intermission. With every show we produce, our educational team produces a study guide based on the Alabama educational standards. One of my favorite memories of actually seeing this in practice is when we presented the true story of the Three Little Pigs. For anyone who is unfamiliar with the true story of Three Little Pigs, it's the story of Three Little Pigs, but it's told from the wolf's perspective. In this version of the story, the wolf is put on trial for eating 2 of the 3 little pigs. But in our version, the children are actually sworn in as jurors. And they are charged with listening to the evidence and the testimonies of all the witnesses. And then they have to decide if the wolf is innocent or guilty. Through that play, we were able to introduce the children to the judicial system and to give them an overview of how it works. As the 23-24 school year comes to a close, we are not slowing down. Last summer, we offered a free park series. We were able to tour Treasure Island into a number of our Birmingham City parks. This summer, with the foundational support of Councilor O'Quinn, Councilor Clark, and Councilor Hunter and the Birmingham Parks and Recs Board, we will start presenting the classic tale of the Winds and the Willows. Come join us as Mole, Rat, and Badger embark on an adventure to save their mischievous friend Toad. We invite our neighbors to bring their blankets and their sunblocks and enjoy a show in the park. We will be kicking off this 15-show tour Friday, May 10th, 6 p.m. at City Walk. We will have an encore performance at 10:30 a.m. Saturday morning. The following week, we will be in Avondale Park, May 17th and 18th, Inslee Park on May 31st through June 1st, Willowwood Park on June 6th to June 7th, Memorial Park on June 13th through the 15th, and lastly, Hawkins Parks on June 20th through the 22nd. If anyone would like more information regarding dates, times, please go to bct123.org. We look forward to seeing you in the parks this summer. In closing, I want to say thank you to Councilor O'Quinn, Clark, and Hunter for helping us provide this free theatrical experiences to the citizens of Birmingham. And I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone that BCT is a nonprofit organization. And if you would like to donate, please contact me directly, Alex Williams, or ALEX at bct123.org to continue to help us continue our legacy of educating, enriching, and entertaining the children of Birmingham. Thank you.
Council Williams.
I just wanted to thank you, Ms. Williams, for being here today. As Counselor Hunter or Counselor Williams, either one, doesn't matter. The work that you guys do really is incredible. And I think that there is something to be said about, you know, we push a lot of educational initiatives collectively from this dais to the children of the city of Birmingham. But a lot of times that's more STEM, more arts, math. But when you are able to get fine arts and some other things in there, it makes for a well-rounded education. So thank you for what you guys do. Your organization's awesome.
Yeah, and I want to just echo that sentiment and say that I think it's great that we have that you guys are helping us with the opportunity to bring these performances to the community, in their community. So really love, you know, the experience of seeing a play outside, you know, in a park. So really great to help make that happen. Thank you. Councilor Moore.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Well, no, and I was just going to say I appreciate the fact that you all are bringing a lot of creativity to it as well, and really bringing these stories to life so that young people have an opportunity to think outside the box. We hear, or, you know, we know a lot of different stories that, you know, exist, and you all being able to put a different spin on it and allowing them to have some creative experiences with it is awesome. So thank you for what you do.
Councilor Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really want to thank you for what you do. I think some of my best memories in elementary school was going to children's theater, being all excited, running up the hallways. And I feel like they did something similar when I was in school where they asked us our opinion about, I remember the Big Bad Wolf and him being on trial. I don't know how old the play is, but so I think back to that and think about the exposure that gives our kids that, because a lot of kids aren't able to go to, you know, the theater or be able to see actors. It's their first time really seeing people that look like them, people who live in Birmingham or around the South, being able to perform. And honestly, that may spark their interest because they're like, oh, I like theater. Well, then maybe they can get a theater club, which can spark interest for that. So I really want to thank you. I think it really matters what you do. And like Councilor Williams was saying, you know, the arts, since they've kind of cut the funding over the years, they haven't been exposed to it as much. And so I think this will be able to allow kids to really have a healthy way to be able to express themselves, deal with any type of life troubles they have, and that can be sparked from really seeing that type of show. So thank you so much.
Councilor Clark.
I just want to echo everything that's been said and thank you all for being such a long-standing partner and bearer of culture in our city. And you all were around when I was in grade school. It was my favorite field trip. And I know that, you know, taking it to the community, arts build community and humanity. So we're really excited about what you're doing. So thank you.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, at this time, do we have any announcements of board and agencies?
No, sir.
All right. I'll read our statement on the conduct of business. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. All items on the consent agenda will be announced by reading the item number only. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member or the mayor requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. Additionally, a citizen interested in addressing the council with respect to an item on the consent agenda designated for public hearing may request the item be removed from the consent agenda to hold the hearing on the item. Any items removed from the consent agenda will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. For remaining matters, all matters of permanent operation will be read and all public hearings will be announced. Mr. Clerk, at this time, could we read over our consent agenda?
Okay, consent agenda starts on page 3. with items 3 and 5. To my understanding, item 4 has been requested to be withdrawn. Page 4, items 6, 7, 8, and 9 are on consent. Page 5, items 10, 11, 12, and 13 are on consent. Page 6, we have items 14, 15, 16, and 17 on consent. Page 7, items 18, 19, 20, and 21 are on consent. Page 8, items 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 are on consent, and that concludes the consent agenda.
All right. Do any members of the council wish to add or remove an item from the consent agenda?
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question about item 13, which is on page 5. I haven't seen a police officer on a bicycle in years. Does this mean we're going to start having bicycle patrols in some of our more densely populated areas? Or somewhere?
We already have officers on bicycles. I promise you they exist. A minimum of 4 of them.
You promise?
They already exist, yes, ma'am. I pinky swear.
So are we gonna get some in 5 Point South where we have a lot of issues and no parking?
Well, let me be totally fair. I'm not sure. The police department has not divulged deployment of where they are, but I know they already exist.
I just haven't seen one. I guess I don't get out much.
I may text somebody, tell them to pull up on you and ride it back in the chamber.
Tell them to pull up on me when I'm walking in 5 Point South at night, enjoying the ambiance.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That was all.
All right. We only have one public hearing item, and it's not on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All right, Mr. Clerk, I believe we're ready for the vote.
Okay, I'll take Councilmember Clark and Councilmember Smith for the second. All right, thanks. All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
All right, consent agenda passes.
All right, so looks like item 1 is the first item. Item 1, an ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 5, off-street parking and loading regulations of the City of Birmingham zoning ordinance. Ordinance number 15-133 as amended in the hearing of all interested parties. Case number ZAC 2023-4.
Move the item.
Second.
Item
All right.
number 4.
This is a public hearing, and Councilor Abbott as chair of the Planning and Zoning Committee, will lead our public hearing.
Okay, we're ready for our presentation.
Good morning. My name is Kim Spurl. I serve as the City Zoning Administrator in the Department of Planning, Engineering, and Permits.
Good morning. My name is Hunter Garrison. I serve as a Senior Planner in the Department of Planning, Engineering, and Permits.
The case before you today is ZAC 2023-4. This case is a request to amend the off-street parking and loading regulations in the City of Birmingham's zoning ordinance. In 2022, in conjunction with the Birmingham Department of Transportation, Planning, Engineering, and Permits began researching how to right-size the City of Birmingham's parking regulations. The research that we found showed that the removal of minimum parking requirements lowers the cost of housing production, which encourages the development of more affordable housing in the city. Removing parking minimums also promotes infill development that supports pedestrian, bicycle, and transit accessibility. We found in our research that minimum parking requirements undercut the city's ability to provide affordable housing, safe pedestrian access, effective transit service, and protections for our environment. The amendments before you today will do 5 major things. The first is that the amendments will remove minimum parking requirements from the city zoning ordinance. Second, these amendments will strengthen maximum parking requirements so that developments will not be overparked. The third thing that these regulations will do is introduce a transportation demand management plan that we call TDM that will have an incentive for developers over 25,000 feet to show us how they are going to address their parking needs. Fourth, these regulations will strengthen our current bicycle parking requirements. And fifth, these regulations will amend our residential driveway requirements to promote and ask for driveways to be in the rear of properties, accessed off of alleys, so that we can eliminate parking in front yards. Real quick, I'd like to go over the community engagement with these changes because I think it's very important that y'all know who we've met with and who we've discussed these regulations with. Our team hosted a series of meetings in early 2023 last year with a stakeholder working group. These stakeholders included architects, developers, land use attorneys, the Birmingham Parking Authority, and some of our neighborhood officers. After we received some excellent feedback from these stakeholder engagement meetings, we prepared amendments that were presented to the CAB on April 17th last year. A few days later, on April 24th, all of the proposed amendments were emailed and mailed to all of our neighborhood officers in all 99 neighborhoods. On May 2nd through 9th, we hosted 3 open house meetings here at City Hall to receive public comments and feedback regarding the parking regulations. On May 15th, our team went back to the CAB where they provided comments and feedback to us on the proposed amendments. On May 16th, we held a workshop with our Birmingham Planning Commission members where we went over the amendments and we received comments and feedback from our planning commissioners. On June 20th, at a special called meeting of the Birmingham Planning Commission, the amendments were presented to the commission at that time. On August 2nd, our Birmingham Planning Commission voted to create a committee to review the amendments and provide additional community engagement regarding the proposed regulations. Between August and October, this committee, assigned by the Birmingham Planning Commission, met 3 times and reviewed all of the proposed amendments that are before you today. Between September 25th and October 16th, our team held 4 public engagement meetings. There were 2 meetings that were held in person at the Crossplex and at the Avondale Library, and 2 of the public engagement meetings provided a virtual option so that our constituents could come from their own home. On October 25th, we held an additional Birmingham Planning Commission workshop with our commissioners. And on November 1st, the item went back to the Birmingham Planning Commission for review, and the commission voted to recommend the amendments to the City Council. On January 10th, the item went before the Planning and Zoning Committee, where it was recommended to the Committee of the Whole. On January 16th, our team met with the Committee of the Whole and the Planning and Zoning Committee at a special called meeting where a presentation was made and the amendments were discussed. On March 5th, our Zoning Advisory Committee voted unanimously to recommend approval of the amendments to the City Council. And on March 19th, the Committee of the Whole voted to send this item to the full City Council. And that's where we are today. Our team is here if you have any specific questions about the regulations or the proposed amendments. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Thank you. do you have any comments you'd like to make also?
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing. Are there members of the public who would like to come forth and speak for 3 minutes regarding this issue? If so, please come forward. State your name and address.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you to Chairman O'Quinn, council members. My name is Brittany Harris, and I represent the Kelsey, which is a San Francisco development organization. But firstly, I represent Birmingham. I'm a product of Birmingham. I grew up on the west side, 08 graduate of Ramsey High School. So after working in housing in North Alabama and Coleman and Georgia, now I'm back home developing, planning to develop an affordable housing project specifically targeting those with disabilities, centering those with disabilities, where 25% of all of our projects are set aside for those with disabilities. Currently, we've already engaged with the Community Engagement Office, and we have put together a community advisory group, those representing Avondale residents, those representing the disability community, and those representing the housing community as well. Now, to the issue at hand, the parking requirements. Like the Planning and Commission and the Planning and Zoning Office said, it really just hampers development for us. When we look at our pro formas and we look at the cost of, putting in a below-grade parking garage, it really sometimes, makes a decision if you're going to develop in an area or not. So I think, that's really important just to consider. And also from our research, we saw that Birmingham car ownership has decreased by half the percentage of where it is with the state, and as well as the community that we serve, specifically the population that we serve, those with disabilities, those that are getting supportive services. They're often needed to be in the city center, in the CBD, close to those amenities, those services, and often that group also doesn't need a lot of commuting, they don't have a lot of commuting needs. Of course, this is Alabama. We're always going to be a commuting community or state. However, in some areas, like looking in Avondale, we have a property now in Avondale under contract. In that case, we feel that requirement could definitely be adjusted. It would benefit our project, and we think it would benefit the city as a whole. And, as a native of this beautiful place that I just love so much, first development project here, I really want to see more development, more economic development be spurred in the city center as well as in the west side and other areas as well. So I thank y'all for listening to me today, and I hope I didn't take too much of your time. Thank you.
Thank you for talking fast. Our timer does not appear to be working. So I have a stopwatch up here, but that seems like a bad way to be keeping up with time because people can't look up and see how much time they have left. So is that under repair?
I believe it's operable if PIO can get that going for us.
Yeah, because we have a lot of speakers here, and if everybody goes over, we'll have a problem. Okay, we're going to start having the timer up where it says Birmingham City Council. Uh-oh, well, she just gave me the thumbs up, I thought. Maybe it was the thumbs down. Okay, so I'm just going to take for granted it was the thumbs up. Here we go. Okay, well, let's not start quite yet.
Okay. You'll have to wait till the clock runs out.
There we go.
Okay, so now, next speaker. Please state your name and address.
I'm Paul Godby. I live at 821 23rd Street South. I'm president of the Southside Neighborhood Association. I've been to these meetings and I've been concerned that some of the information presented has been skewed, and a lot of examples of the right size parking that's currently being proposed has actually been failure on several instances. This Inn Scholar building on 20th and 10th has a bed unit of 600, but they only have 100 secured parking spaces, and the other residents have to park on the street. This is also the same with the tower on 10th. They've got, although that was built in the 1960s, it still follows the same pattern. They've got over 200 units, but only about 70 to 75 parking spaces. All these tenants now are forced to park on the street around 5 Points South. This leads to a lot of car break-ins, car thefts, and the local businesses around there complain, the retail people complain about all the parking of theirs being taken up by the residents. Excuse me. Particularly several businesses have left because of it, right on 20th Street, and I've had customers going to what was Urban Park complaining about having to walk 3 or 4 blocks away because there's no convenient parking close by. There's 3 or 4 stores that have been up for sale right along 20th Street, and there has been other closures of stores because of the lack of foot traffic caused by the lack of parking. In addition to that, this business model is also one that happens up at Zydeco. They do not have any secured parking. People go there and park. They park up on 15th Avenue South. Residents have complained about this, and the city council has actually had to deal with Zydeco as an unfavorable business at one time. Now you're going to be giving this situation over to the rest of the city. Although I would say there are reputable developers, there's some that are not reputable, and they will take advantage of this. And the last thing is a lot of these buildings are empty because of lack of parking. We have empty buildings because people can't park. So affordable housing is all of a sudden not an issue here. So, and my time's up, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Hi, I'm Tawana Wright, Associate State Director of Community Outreach for AARP Alabama. Address 1533 Elm Street, Birmingham, Alabama. AARP fully supports this measure because it stands to decrease the cost of housing. By 2023, there'll be more people over 65 than under 18, and they'll need housing. Anything that we can do to keep people in housing, we will. People are at this time choosing between medicine and housing. If we can keep the cost down, it can benefit an entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Morning, councils. My name is David Fleming. I live at 5103 7th Court South. I have, in my past, been a neighborhood officer, and I have been chairman of the Birmingham Planning Commission, currently on the Birmingham Historical Commission, and I currently work at Rev Birmingham, focused on downtown and neighborhood revitalization. I don't say all that to try to impress anybody. I say that because at every one of those roles, parking has been a major subject. It touches our lives. We know that in a variety of ways, and it's very important to our city functioning these days. Parking, however, is something that has an opportunity to enhance our lives and our built environment and not take away from it. And I think ultimately when we're talking about the kind of city we want to be, we don't want to be a city known for parking. We want to be a city known for quality of life, for historic buildings, and for growth. I say all that to say that I have the opportunity, because of my role, to know a lot of people in a lot of cities that do this very kind of thing in communities and neighborhoods and downtowns. And ironically, we're blessed right now to have the National Main Street Conference in town. 2,000 people are here that do this same kind of work all over the country. And over the last 48 hours, what I have heard from them over and over is how impressed they are with Birmingham, how much they see this great fabric in our downtown, the integrity of our built environment. They don't see a city dominated by parking lots, which is great because I look around and I think I sometimes see too many. But it's good to hear that from them. And I've had the opportunity over the last year or two, as we've talked about this, to call a lot of colleagues in other communities. Many of them have had this kind of change and reform to their parking systems in terms of minimums instead of having those minimums and making this very same kind of change. none of them would go back to the old system. They say that this is something that has been beneficial. It doesn't solve every problem because you're always going to have to navigate issues. That's just a fact. But they believe that it has helped to enhance growth and talk about better kinds of growth in their communities. So I stand and Rev stands in support of this. It is not the only thing we need to do around parking. This is not the end. This is one of many things that we all know that we need to do regarding our parking authority, regarding other parts of our parking system, and certainly enforcement. But I encourage you to support this today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Smith, 545 55th Place South. I've had the chance to live in this city, work in the city as an architect, and now in commercial real estate for about 10 years. So I've worked with various parking regulations several various parking regulations all across the Southeast. I'm currently in my apologies, a little nervous. Currently in commercial real estate with Corporate Realty. So we're a Birmingham-based developer that focuses on improving our communities and enriching the city that we live in. Several of our projects across the Southeast, almost all of them are governed by either special variances, special zoning districts, or planned development districts, and every single one of these focuses on reducing civic parking minimums. We feel that we target operators and tenants, and design our residential in a way that we can focus on a shared parking development, which is what we think this ordinance will encourage. We feel that the ordinance as presented would encourage future developments to do very similar to the way we operate. We feel this would lower the cost for growth, encourage that growth and development in the city, and help make the city operations much more efficient. Those variances in the special districts take a lot of effort from the city and the city staff to get those done. So in addition to reviewing those ordinances that we've done in the past, as well as putting this document together, I certainly appreciate what the city is doing to put this forward. We feel this ordinance would be a benefit to the city. It would encourage good, healthy, and sustainable development and lead to a better utilization of our land while encouraging alternate mobility and focus on pedestrian safety, all of which will help create great spaces, encourage growth, and boost the reputation of our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Next speaker.
Good morning. I'm Helen Rivas. I live at 2909 Highland Avenue South, apartment 911, and I'm here to speak in support of this change also as a transit advocate. And I would encourage you to also support continued improvement in our transit system. Many of the complaints we hear about parking are because people don't have an alternative. So please, let's get more behind. I'm speaking also as a member of ACT Alabama and Alabama Rise. We've been working to try to get more funding, and thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Marva Douglas. I live at 716 Rutledge Drive in Midfield, Alabama. I'm here because I'm a transit advocate. I want to let you know that more than 2,000 high school seniors throughout this state graduate, but they do not get car keys with their diplomas. We need to do something to improve public transportation, and of course, I would be in favor of the same about the housing situation. However, I'm in favor of all of us doing whatever we can to get the attention of people who are in the legislature that manage to at least administer Amendment 93. Amendment 93 went into effect in 1952 that says all gasoline tax money can go only to bridges and highways. There is absolutely no money for public transportation. People like me need public transportation. Driving is no fun, and our students graduate high school have absolutely no means of transportation to look for jobs or even attend one of the many colleges that we have here in this area. We need to stop holding our children back. Honor students do not get the highest scholarships simply because they need volunteer service in order to become members of the National Honor Society. To volunteer, you need transportation. So I am an avid transit speaker, and I want something done. An amendment, SB 91 failed in the legislature. Well, it didn't even get to be voted on in the legislature this last time, but it's going to come up again next year. Please be behind Amendment 91. It will put funds into the empty public transportation trust fund. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Councilors, my name is Daniel Christensen. I live at 2412 2nd Avenue North here in downtown Birmingham. I'm a neighborhood officer and also the chair of the Alabama Urbanist Coalition. So I'm here to present a petition in support of the Right Size Parking Initiative on behalf of not only myself, but 111 other residents and people who work in the city of Birmingham. This is, as Councilor Abbott has said previously, one of those things that seemed like a good idea at the time. Parking minimums seemed like the solution to problems that we had in the 50s and 60s, but the evidence has proven time and time again that they have been more destructive and more egregious to our communities than the problems that they were meant to solve. We support this, this initiative, not only because it will improve housing affordability, improve our built environment, and make help make Birmingham communities whole again, but also because it will help secure Birmingham's promise to put people first. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, guys. I'm Carolyn Buck with Freshwater Land Trust. We're located at 3501 First Avenue South, Suite 201A. So Freshwater Land Trust is the driver of the Red Rock Trail System, a planned trail network with the goal of transforming Jefferson County into a walkable and bikeable place where you want to live, work, and play. As part of our mission, we support active transportation and recreation projects that transform our public streets into public spaces that serve all forms of transportation and allow people to safely travel throughout their communities without the need of a car. The city of Birmingham and Jefferson County has historically prioritized cars over people, creating a street grid that encourages fast travel speeds for our cars and utilizes valuable right-of-way for parking, resulting in uncomfortable and sometimes very hostile environments for our pedestrians and cyclists. As we continue to work on the Red Rock Trail System in the city of Birmingham, and as the city adjusts their priorities for land use and really looks to promote people over cars, we hope that we will start to see a cultural shift where people are just as likely or maybe more likely to walk or bike to their favorite bar, restaurant, or shop rather than drive and park. So as the driver of the Red Rock Trail System, Freshwater Land Trust supports the Right Size Parking Initiative because it gives the city flexibility to make positive steps in the right direction of creating equitable and accessible active transportation and recreation routes. Thanks.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, councilors. I'm Phil Amthor. I lived in the Crestwood South neighborhood for over 10 years, and I've been a city planner, a developer, an architect, and even a land bank employee here for all of that time. I'm here in support of the proposal. I think Ms. Spurl and the planning staff have done an incredible job developing this and carrying it forward. And the reason, in addition to all the investment and jobs and new residents we'll get with this proposal, it's the cultural development that I see as most important. People will be not in cars and in parking lots and on roads, but on sidewalks and interacting. And that kind of thing is something that Birmingham needs very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, councilors. My name is Ferris Zabak. I live at 806 Nob Hill Drive, apartment H. I am here to speak in favor of this proposal and this amendment. I've been a part of a city's working group that has come forward and tried to discuss and develop this proposal, and I've been a part of that process for the past year or so. And I have to say the city has done a great job of developing this idea and making sure that it's well thought out and that it is something that will benefit everybody in the city of Birmingham. And in addition to what everybody else has said before me about developing the culture of the city, improving people's health and financial status, among all these other factors, I think that this is a tremendous way to help support all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, councilors. My name is Clark Bailey at 220th Street North. I am a professional engineer. I work at Kimley Horn & Associates, but I'm also here today representing the Urban Land Institute of Alabama, which is a professional organization that I serve as the chair of the Transportation Committee. We fully support this measure, and in regards to how it will help our city develop properly and more healthy environment. It's based on best practices nationwide. It's been through much scrutiny and many revisions to help right-size it for this city. And we believe that it'll be a great asset for us and continue to help us develop and grow healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, councilors. My name is Stephen Schrader. I reside at 425 Hickory Street in the South Roebuck Springs neighborhood. I am a professional landscape architect and I serve on the Planning Commission as well as the Zoning Advisory Committee. I really appreciate Ms. Spurl recapping just how robust the process was that we went through to get to this point that this is before you for consideration today. I am here to speak in favor of these proposed amendments. I will confess that I was kind of a skeptic going into this. I really did not think that we would be able to muster the support among the Planning Commission to move this forward. This is a very car-dependent community now, and several of our planning commissioners do live in neighborhoods that are plagued by problematic parking. But the proposals before you are not going to take away the existing parking or developers' ability to build new parking. Developers are constant. In my capacity professionally, I work with a lot of developers. They're always looking for a way to save money. Usually they want to do that with the landscape budget. Thank you. But they're not going to do anything that's going to impact negatively the viability or the profitability of their project. So these proposals are going to give them some more creativity and flexibility in providing access to their sites, but it's not going to relieve them of the requirement that they have to provide accessible routes to get to their site. Planning and zoning staff, instead of running all these things through parking modifications, will be able to handle other tasks. This is my hope and my reason for coming before you this morning. In order for Birmingham to become a world-class city, or even just remain competitive on a regional level, we've got to build, as several people have already noted, a reliable transit network and a safe network of transportation options beyond individually operated vehicles. We have a ways to go, but we're on our way. We have an expanding system of bicycle and trail infrastructure. We need robust and reliable transit, and that relies on housing density that's located within walking distance of those transit lines. And we need people to feel like the buses are reliable. So that means those buses are coming on 10 or 15-minute headways. Transit and housing, we all know it's a chicken and egg game. Which one of these is going to come first, right? We all know that the added costs of developing that come from parking and added stormwater infrastructure are keeping affordable housing from being built in these areas. Parking is not the only roadblock to affordable housing, but it is one very important piece of the puzzle that will allow us to create denser and more vibrant neighborhoods in key areas of our city. I ask that you affirm the work of the Planning Commission and the city planning staff and vote yes on these amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Chris Bertrand, and I'm a resident of 2931 10th Avenue South. I have the pleasure of walking to work every day. I walk from my residency to Pepper Place, and I work for the Southern Environmental Law Center. And the Southern Environmental Law Center is a nonprofit organization that works to protect the environment, communities, and special places of the Southeast. The Southern Environmental Law Center and myself personally would recommend that the council adopt these amendments because they are good for the environment and they're also good for the economy of Birmingham. Currently, there's a lot of parking in Birmingham. Parking space takes up 26% of all available land in Birmingham. This amendment will eliminate excessive parking by helping to encourage walkability and bicycle travel in Birmingham. This will help reduce the commuters' dependence on single passenger automobiles and thus improve air quality and prevent air pollution. Currently, motor vehicles are the most significant contributor to greenhouse gases in the United States. Additionally, automobiles contribute to ozone, also known as smog, and particulate matter pollution. These are considerable problems in Birmingham. For example, in 2021, Birmingham ranked the 39th most polluted city in the entire United States for smog pollution, and the 29th most polluted city in the entire United States for year-round particulate matter pollution, making it the third worst in the Southeast. We've got a problem, but these amendments will help alleviate these air pollution problems. Additionally, by cutting out unneeded parking, developers will have the opportunity to install green infrastructure to prevent flooding. In addition to being good for the environment, these amendments are good for business. Our current zoning ordinance requires parking even when it's not needed. An example of this is if I wanted to open up a restaurant, a small business, and my restaurant was about the size of McDonald's, I would need 45 parking spots. That's a lot of parking for one small restaurant. A parking spot will cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. If I wanted to build a garage parking spot, that could be $25,000 to $50,000. That means that this restaurant, trying to open up in Birmingham, about the size of McDonald's, would need to budget $200,000 to approximately $2 million just for parking. And that can be prohibitive for these small businesses, especially when they might not need 45 parking spots for their small restaurant. These amendments will allow local businesses the freedom to choose how much parking they need. Businesses in walkable areas can build less parking and save on cost. Businesses in less walkable areas can still build more parking if they need it. The Southern Environmental Law Center and myself personally encourage you all to vote yes to these amendments to help protect the environment and improve business in Birmingham. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, Birmingham City Council. My name is Watanji Pete Feeney, and I serve as the Senior Director of Capital Planning and Project Delivery for BJCTA. My business address is 1801 Morris Avenue. Eliminating parking minimums aligns with our strategic goals of enhancing public transportation and fostering transit-oriented development. By removing these minimums, we encourage denser, more walkable communities that naturally increase the usage of public transportation. This shift not only supports a more sustainable urban environment, but also boosts ridership for BJCTA services. Moreover, without requirement to allocate extensive parking, developers have more flexibility to design projects that integrate seamlessly with existing transit infrastructure, potentially increasing the number of transit-accessible homes and businesses. This can lead to a more vibrant, transit-oriented community that attracts a diverse range of residents and businesses. Ultimately, eliminating parking minimums positions BJCTA to better serve our communities, leading to increased economic opportunities and improved quality of life as we reduce reliance on individual car usage and promote more sustainable transportation options. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, councilors. My name is Eric Gardner. I'm Director of Partnerships at Via Transportation. I'm joined by Ariel Panich, who's the General Manager for Birmingham On Demand. We have the opportunity to work with both the city and BJCTA on microtransit for the city. Via is the leading provider of technology for public transportation systems, and we partner with more than 700 cities transit agencies, and departments of transportation across the world to plan and operate transit systems and safe streets. Since the end of 2019, we proudly partnered with the City of Birmingham to run the Birmingham On Demand service, which is providing thousands of convenient, affordable transit rides each week to those who need them most. Half of all riders use the service primarily to get to work or school, with many others using it to get to healthcare appointments, grocery stores, and other important activities. We encourage you to pass the sensible reforms contained in the right-size parking initiative. As has been widely documented by experts, parking minimums impose significant and unnecessary costs. At a national level, every space in a surface parking lot costs about $10,000 to build. They substantially drive up the cost of housing, especially affordable housing, for developers and renters alike. They impose unnecessary costs on small businesses, and they increase greenhouse gas emissions. They lead to valuable space being wasted that could otherwise be used for a wide range of better options. Finally, they run counter to efforts to create vibrant communities in which everyone has access to convenient and affordable public transit. As one academic put it, an area that has a lot of parking is transit hostile territory. We believe every city should be encouraging people to use public transit, bike, and walk, and that getting rid of antiquated parking minimums is one important step to creating a more sustainable and equitable future. More than 50 cities across the United States have removed their parking minimums in recent years, and we encourage the City of Birmingham to join them. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you all for your time and the ability to speak today. My name is Karen Barefoot, and I'm representing the Cahaba River Society. We are located at 2717 7th Avenue South, Suite 205. I'm here to speak in support of the right size parking initiative this morning, and I just want to remind you all that Alabama is one of the most biologically diverse states in the United States. Our copious natural areas is one of the things that sets Birmingham apart from most other cities, not only in the South, but in the United States as a whole. If you speak to people that grew up here in Birmingham, many of them will tell you that it's these natural areas that they remember throughout their childhood. And it is still one of the most precious resources and critical resources that we have today. The changes in these parking ordinances are going to be a major positive step in protecting the city's natural areas and our natural waterways and critical waterways. These waterways and natural areas provide culturally and economically significant benefits, and they also supply much of the drinking water that is absolutely critical to the residents of this city. I hope that you will pass these amendments today, and I also hope that you will continue to make positive steps to help protect and increase the ability of these natural lands and waterways to support our people and our city as we move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, members of the City Council. My name is Erica McGrath, and I represent Redemptive Cycles. We are a nonprofit bike shop located downtown at 2nd Avenue North. I would like to address why doing away with required parking minimums can be beneficial to residents, visitors, businesses, and the city in general. Parking is expensive. Requiring a newly established small business or nonprofit to provide parking could very well make or break or encourage businesses to locate elsewhere. This could lead to a downtown with plenty of parking, but nowhere to go. A walkable and bikeable city has the potential to increase revenue to businesses. I definitely noticed more things while riding and walking that I would not have noticed if I was in a car. I have stopped, discovered new places while riding and walking that I would have never thought to visit or even seen if I had been in a vehicle. A focus on increasing pedestrian and cycling traffic has the opportunity to be more beneficial to local businesses and the city as a whole. Having less cars in an area makes getting around on foot and bicycles safer and is all around more of a pleasant experience. With the new bike lanes, trails, and the proposed plan to increase bike parking, more folks will find it safer and easier to swap their car trip or even their commute with a bike ride. This will encourage a healthier, happier lifestyle. I know I feel a lot better when I ride my bike. Parking minimums encourage visitors to our downtown area to drive rather than exploring alternate modes of transportation, like a bicycle, public transportation, or even carpooling. Less cars means less traffic, less pollution, and a more vibrant and safer downtown. Members of the City Council, I encourage you to vote to no longer require parking minimums for the health and safety of our residents and visitors and the potential economic gain to small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, councilors. My name is Greg Parsons. I have the pleasure of serving as Chief Facilities Officer for UAB. We're going to ask David Dada in a second to read our statement. We thank you and we are supportive of this and appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we'll take not 9 minutes but 3 minutes.
My name is Brian Atkinson. I'm the Executive Director of Transportation at UAB, and then I'll give the floor over.
Good morning, Council. David Dada, I serve as Director of Government Relations at UAB. Thank you for the opportunity to speak towards this proposed amendment. We do speak today in support of the initiative to right-size parking. So UAB has undertaken a strategy of controlled growth to improve land use and optimization of resources for the campus and health system. This strategy encourages a walkable campus in alignment with our commitments to Live Health Smart Alabama and our health promoting university charter. We feel that the City of Birmingham's right-size parking initiative aligns favorably with our values and the future that we see in terms of a walkable environment, public transportation, and appropriately sized, strategically located parking as part of the overall transportation network, which serves patients, students, faculty, staff, and researchers, as well as guests to campus. We advocate for growth with a purpose and progressive, forward-thinking planning based on successful examples and best practices. The continued positive transformation of the city core in all areas adjoining the 100-block UAB campus is obviously great for all, and we think that the right-size parking initiative is a wise and forward-thinking step. Thank you for considering this initiative and the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you. Any other speakers?
Hi, council members. Thank you for having me speak today. My name is Hunter Renfro. I'm owner and principal of Orchestra Partners. We are an owner of a lot of property in downtown, some in Five Points, some in Avondale, some in the center city. I am a resident. I live at 2314 First Avenue North. So I generally walk to work. I walk my kids to school. I walked here, and I'm a big proponent of walking. I don't think I need to reiterate what everybody said about why this is good. What I'd like to do is just briefly speak about maybe some misconceptions about why it might be bad. I am in favor of it, but I want to make sure you guys hear why some of these misconceptions are not actually correct. So some folks think that removing parking minimums might create overflow that causes folks to park in your front yard or in your driveway or, you know, in the alleys. That's already happening. And it's not happening because of a lack of parking minimums or a lack of parking development. I'll use Avondale as an example. There's a parking lot you guys may be familiar with it about 2 blocks away from Avondale Brewery that's a city-owned lot, pretty affordable. And yet what you find is that parking lot is often halfway full when the neighborhoods surrounding the brewery during an event have parking all in front of their houses. And so people complain. And I think that the misconception is that it's a lack of the development of parking that is causing that problem. It's not. It's a lack of managing how and where people park. So it's incumbent upon our city that we are thoughtful about zoning requirements to allow the folks who understand how parking works and who are influenced by the mechanisms of parking, like developers, to do what's best for their tenants and their customers and their residents, while also managing parking so that people actually follow the rules. And so, you know, a simple resolution to the Avondale parking issue is just label those parking spaces resident parking and give residents permits. Cities do this all across the country. Same thing in 5 Points. If we've got parking problems, people parking in alleys, parking illegally, not having a place to park, let's clean up the parking deck that's in the middle of 5 Points. Let's add some signage. Let's add some lighting. Let's help them make a nicer parking deck. Let's lobby the BPA to build more structured parking so that people can park and then walk. I own a lot of property in 5 Points South, right in the center of 5 Points, and I can tell you this will not hamper 5 Points development. What's going to hamper 5 Points development is really a lack of cleanliness and a lack of being a nice walkable environment. That's what we should focus on. So I just want to point those things out so nobody has any misconceptions. Thank you. Sorry I ran out of time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning, Council. My name is Bill Segrest. I'm a partner with Williams Blackstock Architects, 2204 First Avenue South, Suite 200. Following up a lot of very smart, very experienced people, I just wanted to offer a quick change of perspective, if you will, as to why myself and a lot of my colleagues and peers in the profession are in support of a right parking size amendment. A quick couple of instances that I have been in this room begging the Board of Zoning and Adjustment for a parking modification to allow a developer that we might be working with to provide something to their residents, to the community that they wouldn't be otherwise able to had they had to provide all of the parking that the current zoning regulation demands. There's been other instances that I've been in this room or perhaps down at Urban Studio, unfortunately, discussing the removal of building stock from the city streets to provide surface parking for a development that we were working with. And far too often, working with developers where they either have to give up an amenity or a community-based offering to their residents and the rest of the community because the parking cost precluded them from being able to provide that. They had to make a choice of, do we develop here at all and provide the parking, or do we give up something that we would love to give our residents? And unfortunately, there's been several times when the penciling and the working through the numbers just did not work, and that development unfortunately had to leave the city because they could not get built here. And I think as residents and as business owners and people that love this city and practice here, we need to think about not just the transit lifeblood of a city as being able to get on reliable transit, walk, bike, but also the types of businesses and things that we want to provide the residents of this city. And getting a right-sized parking initiative will take a step in allowing the developers and the business owners to do that exact thing. So just wanted to offer a couple of perspectives from an architect in the office and in support of all of the other things that were brought up. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other speakers from the audience?
Councilor Abbott, one of the speakers who wanted to share with you guys this morning could not be here today. I just wanted to point out that he did write a letter, and it's in your packet. It's from the BPA director, Mr. Davis. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Now we are to members of the council who have questions.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Last week I had the opportunity to go to the Novogradic Affordable Housing Conference in San Francisco. It was a room full of developers, investors, syndicators, banks, all kinds of folks. And, you know, this was really the conversation of the day. How do we reduce the amount of cost that goes into building affordable housing? And I asked the question, as a policymaker, what is it that, you know, my colleagues and I can do to help to alleviate some of the friction, as well as, you know, make Birmingham a space that developers want to come and develop affordable housing? And the two things that, you know, were made mention of was providing, you know, financial support, but then also amending certain ordinances that are in place, and specifically around parking. Obviously because of, you know, the cost that it takes to build affordable housing and including that. And so I appreciate everybody coming up and, just kind of giving their perspectives about, how this can help our city because, again, it's right in line with a lot of the conversations that are going on throughout our country and that other cities are seeing as well. I know, folks may mention about, improving transit and, in San Francisco, or here in Birmingham, we don't have the BART, but we do have BJCTA, and this will help to improve and increase utilization of the resource that we do have in our city. And so I'm all for, these proposed changes. I, like to think of myself as a Captain Planet. And so I appreciate your statements about, how this will also improve and help our environment as well. And so just wanted to make those statements. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Clark.
I think it's kind of a great coincidence that this is coming up when we have the National Main Street Conference in Birmingham today, and that, this is an important step for us as a city. I do think we have to go a little further and complement this with some of those permit parking districts in some residential areas so that we're not, to sort of mitigate that impact that some businesses have on residential parking. But I trust we're going to get there. I don't want to throw this out waiting for that, because we have been waiting for that for quite a long time, and we do have to be able to enforce it. So I'm really excited about this. I feel like the banks or the people who finance development and the developers who, take a lot of risk on development are going to ensure that they can, that their projects can be financially viable, or, they're not going to not build parking. If parking can be supported by the development and is a need of the development. So I feel pretty good about this, and I'm just happy about the timing. So thank you.
Good. Anyone else? Any other members of the council? Okay, well, there's nobody else. Well, I have attended every meeting to talk about this parking issue. And thank God for Hunter Renfro, who mentioned resident parking, because to me that is the most important thing in this whole parking changeover that we're going to do, is to protect our residents, since our motto is putting people first, but we often forget to put people first, especially people who live in Birmingham. So I would like to know from the administration, I noticed that the resident parking zones was like the last item on the list of things to do regarding this parking change. And I was very hopeful that the mayor would come back so he could make a commitment.
I was distracted by this statement of not putting people first. What's the question?
Yes, that would distract you, wouldn't it?
It would.
Resident parking zones, so that residents of Birmingham do not find strangers parked in front of their homes so that they can't park near their homes. That is a big issue for some districts, not all districts. The more suburban-like districts probably don't have that problem, but for districts that are pressed right up against downtown, having people come into the residential areas and take up all the parking is a big deal, as Mr. Renfro pointed out in Avondale. So, my question is, might we receive a proposal on resident-only parking districts like within the next 6 months? I'll make it easy.
Well, Mr. President, to Councilor Abbott's question, I think there's agreement among all of us that we all trust James Fowler as a leader of the Department of Transportation related to continued improvement in efficiencies and strategies around parking efficiencies. And that as the professionals, if they're willing to make a recommendation to me that I can provide to you, that we would be more than willing to do that if they so deem.
Yeah, I guess we just have to do it ourselves. Because you're waiting for someone to make a recommendation to you, but you're the mayor. And I just felt like that I could get a commitment out of you, but clearly I can't, and I'm disappointed in that. But I've been disappointed before. And this won't be the first time or the last time. So the next question is, we have not fixed our sidewalks in Birmingham. We have not put bike lanes throughout the city, and our transit system is struggling. So do we plan in this year to begin to get to work on our dangerous sidewalks and our lack of bike lanes?
Yes.
This year?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good answer. And then it comes to enforcement. And I'm so glad to see our police department well represented here today, because enforcement is something that we are lacking. And in order for this to work, we all know that people love to bring their cars and park them on the sidewalks and in no parking zone and on top of handicap ramps. And we really need some major enforcement, whether it be the police doing the enforcing or whoever. So what is our plan for enforcement?
Mr. President, to your colleague's question, the Birmingham Department of Transportation has been working on the reform strategy as it relates to parking enforcement. I think one of the things they have been looking to do, what they've already completed, is revise the regulation for private off-street parking. That includes booting and towing policies. And the second thing they've been working on, which they've been able to check off, is to begin towing vehicles for public safety violations. So if you recall, ample communication went out citywide around parking enforcement to business owners as well as residents in these dense areas around new forms of enforcement that include up to towing. In progress is refreshing the park mobile signage and stickers to provide more notice, as well as drafting a policy for towing for unpaid violations. There's probably a list of about 8 other things that also will begin working on, but those top 4 is something that the council should be already aware of as it relates to enforcement.
Thank you. I think that is it for me. The resident parking zones are the big deal as far as I'm concerned, because my district is one of the ones that has the problems. And I would be glad to forward all their calls to someone else, but I don't want to do that to anyone. So thank you, Mr. Renfro, for bringing that issue up. You are the only one. So we are ready to vote.
Can I offer a comment? So for folks who've been paying attention, you'll be aware that this is one component of a multi-part strategy to reset our environment. And, this is very much about trying to change the climate such that our city grows in a way that we, feel it can be more accommodating to folks that want to use alternative modes of transportation. I think it's also, very important to state that, you know, these mandates that we've been utilizing, that we've legally been requiring businesses to construct, those numbers were I can't speak to exactly how they were developed, but they weren't developed by people who live here in the city of Birmingham, or they weren't even developed by people who were thinking about, you know, urban environments. That were largely developed based on suburban standards. You know, there's a correction that's happening here, and I think anyone would agree that Birmingham, despite many transitions over its past, where, you know, it used to be that at one point in our past, you couldn't walk too far before you came across a horse stable, and that horse feces was a environmental pollutant in downtown Birmingham. Then we transitioned to an era where we had one of the best public transit systems in the United States. Brian Atkinson from UAB reminded me yesterday that at one point in Birmingham's history, we had over 60 million trips on public transit annually. 93 million, okay. And even as recently as the 60s, it was tenfold or many-fold the number that we currently have. So, you know, our city's undergone, you know, many transitions, but this is, you know, a lot of us who came and spoke today, thank you for coming. Really appreciate your support for this. And it's a reset, but it's only one component of a many-part strategy. Residential parking permitting is something that I also feel strongly about. I feel so strongly about it that I actually assigned a member of my staff at the time to research residential parking permitting in dozens of cities across the United States. That project was that individual's sole directive at the time, and I didn't ask him to do anything else but work on that project for a period of 3 to 4 months. So we have that research. That individual is now employed in the Department of Transportation. So we have the knowledge and expertise to be able to pull that off. And I know that, you know, James Fowler has that as a component of the multi-part strategy to this overall correction and improving our environment. So I think we'll get there. And I think we're ready for the vote.
Mr. President, 30 seconds, please.
Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Clark?
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Councilor Abbott, correct? I'm not looking. Okay.
So that item passes. Next item, Mr. Clark.
Should be item 2, an ordinance amending ordinance number 24-8, adopted by the council February the 13th, 2024, authorizing the mayor upon receipt of payment an amount of $5,318.35 to execute a quitclaim deed to Coco Properties LLC for the sale of property legally described as Block 242, Lot 13, North Birmingham, Map Book 1, page 111, in the Office of Judge of Probate, Jefferson County, Alabama, parcel ID 22014413-4, city account 3120, and located at 2725 27th Street North, Birmingham, which was acquired by the city upon foreclosure of municipal improvement liens in accordance with section 3-1-4C of the General Code of the City of Birmingham to correct the legal description to read Block 242, Lot 13 through 16 North, 50 feet of MB 1, page 111, parcel ID 22014413-4. And this is, looks like first reading of item of permanent operation. Is it the first reading? Yes. So I need UC to entertain today.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, Councilmember Moore, Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams. Aye. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
All right, now I need a motion on the item.
I move approval. Second.
All right, item is before you.
Any questions? No, we're ready for the vote.
All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Any additional items?
No, sir. Item 4 is withdrawn, that's it.
All right. That brings us to our announcements section of the meeting. Councilor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. Roebuck Springs neighborhood will be meeting on Thursday, May the 9th at 7 o'clock at their normal place, New Beginning Church. Economic Development and Tourism will be today at, it's scheduled for in 12 minutes, but when we adjourn in conference room D and E, and that is all I have.
Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you. First, let me begin by reading announcements on behalf of Councilor Tate for District 9. The Thomas Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight, 6 p.m. at Mount Hebron Baptist Church. The Wylam Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight at 6 p.m. at Wylam Library. The Oak Ridge Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Thursday, May 9th at 4 p.m. via conference call. The Hooper City Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Thursday, May 9th at 6 p.m. at the Hooper City Recreation Center. She wants to thank everyone for the huge support for the Derby Day event that was held on Saturday, and very grateful to the public and everyone who came out. The next public safety meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 14th at 1 p.m. Please submit agenda items via email by Wednesday, May 8th, no later than 12 noon, to the following recipients: Beatrice.collins@birminghaml.gov and Gregory.Stanley@birminghaml.gov. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact the D9 office at the extensions of 2309 and 2096. Now for the District 7 updates. Want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. I echo with Mayor Whitfin in wishing my colleagues on the council happy Mother's Day. Thursday, May 9th, the West Brownsville Neighborhood Association will meet at 10 a.m. via conference call, and the Roosevelt City Neighborhood Association will meet at 6:30 p.m. at the Roosevelt Recreation Center. Friday, May 10th, we have bulk trash and brush pickup that's scheduled for the Oxmoor Valley or the Sand Ridge neighborhood area. And on Monday, May 12th, the Oxmoor Valley Neighborhood Association will meet at 6 p.m. at the Oxmoor Valley Community Center. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilor Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. President. As far as neighborhood meetings, we have Oakwood Place Neighborhood Association meeting will be held today at 4 p.m. at Harrison Park Recreation Center. Mason City will meet today at 4:30 via teleconference. The North Titusville neighborhood will meet on Wednesday, May 8th, 2024, so tomorrow at Memorial Park Recreation Center. And then this Monday, May 13th at 5 p.m., West End Manor will meet at New Hope Baptist Church. The next Budget and Finance meeting will meet this Monday, May 13th at 3:30 p.m. in the council chambers. Submissions are due tomorrow by noon. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom in particular, sister, chief of staff, the mothers on central staff for us, so Cheryl, Connie, and then to my colleagues as well. Counselors Alexander, Abbott, and Tate. I know I've seen Counselors Tate and Alexander in their motherly role, and really inspires me. So I hope to be as great of a mother as you guys are. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Clark?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll start by reading the announcements for District 4 in the absence of my colleague J.T. Moore, if I can get it back on my screen. Let's see here. Okay. So District 4 announcements. Let me start with District 8, okay. Trying to make this bigger. Okay, District 4, we've got the Fairmont neighborhood meeting tonight at Mount Carmel Baptist Church. That meeting starts at 6 p.m. The location is 5110 Cheek Road. Also, the Inglenook neighborhood meets the second Monday of each month. So next week at the Inglenook Recreation Center at 5:30 p.m. Woodlawn neighborhood also meets the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m. That's at the Willowwood Park Recreation Center. And Roebuck meets on the second Monday of each month at 7 p.m. That's at the Birmingham Police Department East Precinct location. Airport Highlands will meet also the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m. That's at the Pleasant View Baptist Church. Please also note that the Community Development Committee will meet this Wednesday, May 1st. This Wednesday is not May 1st. Okay, it's been canceled. The next meeting will take place on May 15th at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. Items are due by Wednesday, May 8th, and they can be directed to adaris.may@birminghamal.com. That's ADARIS.may@birminghamal.gov. Also, please finally note that the Birmingham Parks and Recreation Board will meet on Wednesday at 9 a.m. at Legion Field in the Park Boardroom. That concludes the District 4 announcements. Now we'll move to District 8 announcements. And, I just want to say on the record that I'm deeply disheartened and concerned about the ongoing dangerous gatherings and activities on 3rd Avenue West, on several locations on 3rd Avenue West. And I'm assured by the mayor and the chair of public safety, that there are some more aggressive strategies being implemented by the police to curtail this activity. I know that, the Shell station has been singled out as a nuisance property. The gathering there has been a nuisance on the community for many, many years. And I know that my predecessor tried unsuccessfully to get them shut down. I hear both sides. I get calls from the business owner a lot about needing help with curtailing the activity on his property, and more recently, his optimism that he was going to get help, that he'd worked out a plan with the West Precinct and was very optimistic that the plan might get him the help he's been trying to get. So I'm really concerned because we have so few businesses. I think I'm in this quandary because 3rd Avenue needs more businesses and vitality, and we need services in our neighborhood. I would be more supportive of limiting hours of operation than shutting it down, because, I like getting my watermelons there in the daytime when it seems safe to be there. And I know that people go in to and from the hospital, to work, need places to get gas and sundries and other things. I think the real problem is on the weekends, 11 and later, and we have a responsibility for regulating things, but I'm not sure because the Burger King is closed and people are gathering and fighting there. So I just hope we'll be thoughtful, not emotional, do our jobs, and I don't know what the right answer is. I'm gonna try to stay open and support whatever seems like it's gonna work. But something has to change, and I think we closed clubs last year that took away a place to go, and maybe we needed to regulate it. I don't know, because people need places to go and things to do. So I don't know. I'm just still trying to figure it out. Scratching my head mostly, but and praying for peace. The Fairview neighborhood is going to meet today at 5:30 p.m. via conference call. You can call my office at 254-2304 to get the dial-in information. At 6 p.m. today, the 5 Points West community has called a special call meeting at the West Precinct. They're going to be talking about the Community Fun Day. Some planning around that. Also, the Thomas neighborhood is meeting today. They gather in person at the Mount Hebron Baptist Church at 6:30. Also want to note that the Beta Mu Nu chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc. presents their talent hunt on tomorrow, May 8th at 6:30 p.m. at the Opportunity Center. And participants for this event must be in grades 9 through 12 and are encouraged to show off their talents in the performing arts. Cash prizes will be available from the winners, and I am one of the judges. Also, Bama Health, our most tenacious business in District 8 because, they're unstoppable. They had a fire and they just kept going. They're hosting a community health and wellness experience on June 1st. That's going to be from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. at the Central Park Rec Center. There will be interactive learning sessions, giveaway tastings, and more. And as the mayor mentioned earlier, you can join Mayor Woodfin and I at the Crossplex for the District 8 Town Hall meeting. That's on Thursday, May 9th, starting at 6 p.m. Various department heads will also be in attendance to provide updates, answer questions, and note the concerns of the residents. So please tell your neighbors and please come and listen and be heard. Also want to just note the passing of longtime community leader in the North Pratt area, Miss Ellen Spencer, who passed away recently after some periods of illness. She was also vice president of the Community Advisory Board. So just want to ask the council to join me in praying for her family. And finally, we still walk at the Crossplex on Thursdays. It's getting hotter and hotter. But right now we're still walking at 8 a.m. We just do a short walk around the property with the Freshwater Land Trust. Please join us if you want to sweat and meet your neighbors. Thank you.
Councilor Abbott.
Somehow meeting your sweaty neighbors doesn't sound quite as good as it did before. The next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, May 8th at 3:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. We have 2 openings on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. One is for a construction type contractor, and one is for a supernumerary who serves when we don't have a quorum. So those 2 positions are open, and submission deadline is Monday, May 14th. Neighborhood Association meetings tonight. The Forest Park South Avondale Neighborhood Association meets. It is at 6:30 p.m. at the Avondale Library. And the Forest Park neighborhood has a very unique initiative going on, which is led by Tom Cosby. And it is to get gasoline-powered blowers out of the city of Birmingham because of all the obnoxious noise and fumes they make, but mostly the noise. And he's quite serious about this, and the city of Mountain Brook has already done it, and he's a man on a mission. So it will be interesting to see. I've gotten rid of all my gasoline stuff, and I'm very happy about that because it was always broken. And I didn't know how to fix gasoline engines, so I've ditched them all, and battery-operated things they don't seem to need any work. So, on to 311, we want everyone who sees an issue with something in the city of Birmingham to call 311 and report it. Because as long as residents are silent, nothing gets done. If you don't speak up, it's going to continue to be that way forever. And so if you have, sewer covers that have been run over by trucks and have fallen in the hole, if you have broken sidewalks, if you have trees that are in danger of falling on someone, just call 311 or add to your phone the wonderful My BHAM 311 app so that you can send a photograph and no one can say they couldn't find it because the photo says it all. And last, I encourage people in District 3 to continue to visit our website for all of the announcements and things that we don't have time to tell you about up here, and that is www.bhamdistrict3.com, and 3 is a number 3. So thank you very much, Mr. President.
All right, Councilor Clark.
I just want to offer a correction that I was just given by community leaders. The meeting tonight at the 5 Points West Community Meeting at the West Precinct at 6 p.m. will be to discuss the issues along 3rd Avenue West.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. In District 5 this week, we have the Smithfield Neighborhood Association that will meet Thursday, May 9th at 6 p.m. at the Smithfield Court Community Center. Gate City Neighborhood Association will meet Monday, May 13th at 4 p.m. at the Marks Village Campus of Hope. Oak Ridge Park Neighborhood Association will also meet on Monday, May 13th at 6 p.m. at the Harris Home Recreation Center. The Transportation Committee will meet Monday, May 13th at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. Items can be submitted to the agenda by contacting Kimberly Phillips at kimberly.phillips@birminghamal.gov. Just want to offer a reminder about the Children's Theater Summer Park Series that kicks off this weekend, May 10th and May 11th at City Walk Park, and will feature a theatrical production of The Wind in the Willows. This is a free series and will take place in parks across the city to include Avondale Park, Inslee Park, Willowwood Park, Memorial Park, and Don Hawkins Park until June 22nd. For more information, please visit www.bct123.org. And finally, applications are open for the Jones Valley Teaching Farm High School Paid Apprenticeship Program for Birmingham City School students. This opportunity is open to rising 11th and 12th graders and is for the 2024-2025 school year. For additional information, please visit www.jbtf.org or call 205-453-7268. Also want to thank our officers on duty. I see Mr. Pinkert is still here, Officer Pinkert is still here, based in City Hall. We also had with us earlier, Mr. Jonah Taylor and Ken Morris from South. And I think there was probably at least one other additional officer. Thank you guys for being with us. Mr. Clerk, I believe we're ready for our public speakers now.
I think the only one still present is Mr. Body, William Body. I think the other two have left, Ms. Pearson and Gordon, they've left, so. But I don't see Ms. Body either, so.
Okay. All right, in that case,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.